Morning folks. Just arrived at Troup Head. Got Liam with me. Well, Liam's actually got me with him. Liam drove the day. As you can see, it is a glorious day for photographing gannets. I will actually say, unfortunately the sun's just come out. Obviously photographing a bright white bird when the sunlight's quite harsh can also be difficult, but it's been dipping behind the clouds, so hopefully we actually get some really nice light. There was a wee bit of rain and stuff on the way over here, but it's forecast to be a lovely morning. Although if you see in the distance there over the top of Liam's head, looks like some rain along the coast there as well. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get round to cliffs, and there's plenty of gannets. It was about this time last year, or maybe just a couple of weeks later, but everything seems to be moving on a wee bit quicker this year. Spring seems to have come a wee bit earlier, so hopefully get some nest building and some nice shots. Yeah. So we've been down at the cliffs for a wee while now. There's plenty of gannets, but they're not all back yet. They're not as high up the cliffs as they were when we came last year. I was speaking to Liam on the way over, and I think it was about the 16th of April that we were here last year. Certainly that rings a bell, because Davey photographed a goshawk at the Hyde for the first time on the 14th of April, but I'd already planned to come here, otherwise I would have been sitting in the Hyde trying to photograph goshawks. So anyway, no, we're getting some nice shots of the gannets anyway. The light, the sun has dipped behind the clouds, which is, you know, it's given us some nice light anyway. We're able to get some nice in-flight shots. You know, the gannets are buzzing about, coming in, landing with nesting material and stuff. So yeah, it's all looking good. Stop and have a coffee just now, and we'll get back to filling the memory card shortly. still here. Yeah, having a good time. It's always fun trying to capture the gannets coming in. I find if you watch them, they tend to do a flyby, and you'll see them looking. You'll see them looking over at the cliff because they know that's where their partner is. That's where they want to land. And if you just watch them, they just do these big circles out into the sea and then back in, and they'll maybe do that 2 or 3 times before they actually come in to land properly. But because they're quite low down, as you can see, I'm still staying safely back from the edge of the cliff. There's, you know, there's gannets right over the edge there, as you can see, right next to me. I'm not having to, you know, I don't like doing any heroics. I'm not one of these guys that likes clambering down to the ridiculous points. At the end of the day, I'm just here to get some photographs. I'm not here to risk my life, you know, for the sake of a photograph. If the gannets, you know, the gannets come close enough as it is, you don't need to be clambering down to ridiculous spots or anything like that. You're not going to get any better shots than anybody else at all. You know, you get them swirling about your head height. You know, you get some lovely shots looking over the edge as well, with the colour of the sea down there. I mean, look at that pair there. The colour of the sea and the swirling water at the rocks and everything there. You get some wonderful shots, so there's no need to be doing any heroics. You know, the conditions are changing. We're getting the sun popping out now and again, and then going behind the clouds again. So conditions are changing all the time. It's nice to chop and change. I am currently using, I've swapped over onto my 100 to 400 Sigma lens. Reason being, when the gannets at the very tops of the cliff here, when they're coming in at 200mm on my 200 to 600, it is too tight. It is too tight and I'm clipping the wings. So I've swapped over to the 100 to 400. The problem I have with the 100 to 400, it is not as quick. It is just not as quick focusing as... Oh, and there's one. Whoa. Bit of a scrap going on there. Hang on. Yeah, the 100 to 400, it's, you know, it's a nice sharp lens and stuff like that, but it is a cheaper lens. It is just not as quick focusing as the 200 to 600. This is where a 400 prime would just be probably, well, it would be too tight for these guys coming in, but a 400 prime would be awesome for photographing these gannets in flight. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to get some shots. Liam's way over there now. He just disappeared behind the cliffs over there. We're kind of keeping an eye on each other, keeping in contact. But we're actually the only ones. We're the only ones up here today. We did see another couple. They were just here for a wee look about, and then they're off. But we're the only 2 photographers here today, which is lovely as well. Anyway, I'll get back to it and I'll keep you updated. Cheers. As you can still see, it is still a glorious day. I'm moving over another spot now. Liam's message saying that he's found a pretty good spot over this far side, so you head back over here, see how it's looking. Yeah, got quite a few nice in-flight shots. Patience, perseverance, and a bit of luck. As I say, you get a feel for it. You see the birds flying about and you see them having a look at the cliff, and you think, right, I'm going to pick this one. And you sort of pick a bird and you wait for it to do its few laps. You know, they usually, as I say, they do a couple laps of the cliff. You see them going out to sea, coming back, out to sea, coming back, and then eventually they'll come in. So yeah, I got a few shots. Birds coming in with nesting materials. There was one in particular actually, and it came in with a clump of seaweed. and presented it to its partner, and they kind of did a wee bit of their courtship ritual, and then they both settled down in the nest, and the bit of seaweed's just sitting on top of the bird's back as if he's, you know, dressing himself. So yeah, it's great watching their behaviour. It's just superb watching their behaviour. It's such fun watching how they interact with each other. I always say when I come across here, I'll have to try and get back across later on in the year. I always tend to come very early, before they've got chicks and just when they're gathering nest material. So, but I will. I will have to come back, because I've never seen the cliffs completely full here. I've always come across quite early in April. So anyway, there's a few more people here now. We've got somebody back that way and a couple along here. So it's not as if it's hoaching, not as if it's busy. Anyway, I've got to go and find Liam now. I think I can see his bag, but I don't know where he's at. I'll go and find him, see if I can get some more shots.